Hello and welcome to the Street Crime UK YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Today we look at a crime gang who thought they were untouchable and have been jailed for 35 years after police infiltrated encrypted chats which revealed they were running a lucrative drugs empire and had a frightening arsenal of weapons. Organised criminals openly communicated with each other on a system called EncroChat which boasted of being impervious to police interception. But French police gained access and found a rich vein of damning evidence against gangsters around Europe. Among those snared, when the material was passed to the National Crime Agency, was former soldier David Nixon, who was being orchestrated by a mysterious crime boss known only as Master Passer. Mr. Nixon then recruited Daniel Tate as right-hand man as they moved large quantities of cocaine and deadly weapons around, supplying dealers lower down the chain in a business worth approaching £100,000 a day on occasions. Mr. Tate then roped his dad, Thomas Tate Sr., into the conspiracy to drive him around when he was banned from the roads, and his brother, Thomas Tate Jr., was also involved. A Glock handgun was hidden at the home of Thomas Tate Sr., while Daniel Tate, under the direction of Mr. Nixon, had also hidden an arsenal of weapons and ammunition at the home of his grandmother, Anne-Marie Glanadin. Paul Mitchell, prosecuting, told Newcastle Crown Court the case involved the operations of an organised crime group in Newcastle. Mr. Nixon was a senior member of the group involved in the supply of multi-kilogram packages of cocaine through a network of dealers. Daniel Tate was a trusted lieutenant, storing drugs and other items. He stored some drugs at the home of his father and used his father to drive him around. The gang also had access to frightening arsenal of firearms, supported by hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Mr. Mitchell said the infiltration of the subscription EncroChat service is what brought the gang down. It was a system where users, equipped with expensive handsets, could communicate with others using nicknames and encrypted messages. Mr. Nixon and Daniel Tate were both subscribers and contacted each other and other criminals to organise their illegal activities. Mr. Mitchell said the chat suggested they were supplying at least 12 sub-dealers, and on one day the sum of just £100,000 was mentioned. In another chat, Master Passer asked Mr. Nixon about an AK-47 the court heard. Police went to the home of Thomas Tate Sr. in Kenton, Newcastle, and found a kilo of cocaine in a cupboard and a further 1.5 kilograms in the loft, along with a Glock handgun, the same as those used by armed police in the UK. The fingerprints of Daniel Tate and Thomas Tate Jr. were found on the cocaine packaging. A search warrant was also executed at the home of their gran, Miss Glendenning, in Byker. Daniel Tate had left a large holdall there, inside which police found a Sturbod carbine rifle and Stig Sauer automatic self-loading pistol, a 9mm Glock pistol loaded with a magazine of 12 bullets and 300 rounds of ammunition. An item resembling a hand grenade was also found, which was destroyed by the army. Mr. Nixon, 28, of Chase Meadows in Blyth, and all three Tates pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply cocaine. Mr. Nixon and Daniel Tate, 22, of Reddington Place, Cowgate, Newcastle, pleaded guilty to 3 offences of possessing prohibited firearms and 2 of possessing prohibited ammunition without a certificate in relation to the items in the bag at the Tates' Nan's home. Miss Glendenning, 63, of Northumberland Terrace, Blykerwill, will be sentenced for her involvement at a later date. Mr. Nixon, Daniel Tate and Thomas Tate Sr., 48, of Orchard Green, Kenton, Newcastle, also admitted possessing a prohibited firearm in relation to the Glock found in the loft. Mr. Nixon was jailed for 15 years, Daniel Tate got 11 years, Thomas Tate Sr. was locked up for 5 years and 3 months, and Thomas Tate Jr. got 4 years. They reacted to the sentences in a way which suggested they were happy with them. Judge Amanda Rippon said, 4 guns and hundreds of rounds of ammunition can do so much damage. Glenn Gatland, for Mr. Nixon, said the married dad is an Afghanistan veteran. Mr. Gatland said he had set his own business up as a personal trainer, through which he came into contact with Master Passer, who recruited him. Mr. Gatland then started taking cocaine, and the slippery slope started. Adam Birkby, for Daniel Tate, said he is very sorry to the court and to his family, particularly those members he had directly involved in this case, for what he has done. He added that he has missed the birth of his child. Tony Davis, for Thomas Tate Sr., said he was involved by his son when the person who usually gave him a lift was busy tidying up. He added he was involved for a relatively brief period of time and was mortified at receiving information as to the scale and extent of the operation. He was rewarded on an ad hoc basis with very modest sums. Ben Campbell for Thomas Tate Jr., 23, of Saffron Place, Walker, said the only evidence against him were the fingerprints on the cocaine packaging, and that there was no evidence suggesting he was aware of the scale of what was going on. Detective Chief Inspector Paul Woods from North Cumbria's Police Priority and Organised Crime Team previously said they thought they were untouchable. He added, "Thankfully in this area it is very rare for criminals to acquire firearms of this nature, and the public can be assured that whenever we suspect illegal firearms are in the hands of criminals, our dedicated teams will waste no time in seizing and destroying them and taking robust action against those in their possession." So what are your thoughts about this Newcastle-based drugs operation, and how a man only known by his nickname as Master Passer recruited others, including what would later be found out to be 3 members of the same family? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, stay safe.